Imagine trying to learn the most impossible language on earth. Which language would you pick? And would you dare to do it on camera?
That's impossible, even for a computer.
I have clips of me, some friends, and some total strangers who dared to do it. And to sweeten the pot, there may or may not be a clip of me singing. 5 impossible languages coming up.
Yithi nihlele ngoxolo ogqiba ufika uqala ingxabano qho wenza obubhanqa ogqiba ucela uxolo ndiqala kokuqala ngogqibela ke mna ke sindiqhela kakubi ndase ndikubambe ngoqhoqhoqho ogqiba ndikuqhaqhe ngenqindi ndiqhela kakubi.
Ever heard this language before? Well, I've tackled many languages in my life, but not a single one of them required any clicking sounds. Not even the super hard one that I'm going to sing in later. See, that's why this language is first on my list. It's an African language and it's called Xhosa.
Xhosa. When you make that sound? After you start the word or before?
Xhosa.
Well, there you go. And if you've ever been to Cape Town, you've definitely heard people speaking like this. It's the most used indigenous language in the Cape, and your ears just cannot miss those clicks. Xhosa is one of South Africa and Zimbabwe's official languages, but there's only one thing we're here for today. What would happen if you or I had to try speaking it?
3 types of clicks, I know that. Kushushu. Xhosa. Ikaka laziki kakika kwazi kwa waka.
Well, I think she's been practicing. What do you think? I mean, the clicks on their own are easy enough, but try sticking them onto the front of your words.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to say Saturday.
Okay.
Gqibelo. Belo.
Belo.
Belo. Gqibelo.
Ibelo.
Music in Xhosa is umculo. Umculo.
Lo.
Umculo.
Umculo.
Umculo. Yes, that's music.
So what is going on here? Why do these guys click when they speak? Do the sounds even mean anything? Well, if you're South African, the floor is yours in the comments. But meanwhile, let's see how it works. There are 18 click consonants represented by 3 letters, C, Q, and X.
The first one is represented by a C. The second one is represented by a Q. And the third one is represented by an X.
And each of these clicks has 6 different sounds depending on which vowel comes after it or if it's alone. You trying it along there at home? Better have some fun while you can, guys. This is easier than the languages coming up. But it turns out those clicks aren't the only hard sounds to make. Xhosa has some other mean tricks up its sleeve.
Like, which is represented by an HL, isihlangu, which is a shoe, and which is a KR. The R makes the sound. A word would be ikhazukile, which is torn.
That is pretty much impossible. Am I right? And just when you get the hang of these mouth acrobatics, you find it's also a tonal language. Anything else? Well, yes, Xhosa is agglutinative, meaning that you can build big words by sticking smaller ones together. Nouns also have gender, and any noun that you use has to get a specific prefix added to it, and there are 15 categories of these. So, is it a complex language? You betcha. Is it impossible?
Asizongazipost iipics zethu ngoba soyika uba ningazixelela uba sityebile. Jonga njani tyebiswa ngokutya kwakwakho usustresa ngokutyeba kwam rubbish.
Okay. All I understood there was stress, but you've seen the proof. It can be done, so go watch all the click videos I just gave you, and once you've nailed the words with clicks, you'll be well on your way.
I'm clearly no banda clear on the grand. Ekubele the grand, no by the grand.
Minulla on 4 lasta.
Okay.
Ja 3 koiraa. Sisu pelaa koripallo.
Tolkien thought this language was so cool, it inspired him to create an entire language for elves.
Lagovanen, Legolas Thranduilion.
And it's pretty awesome. Ever heard of a palindrome? That's a word you can read backwards in exactly the same way. Check out the longest palindrome in the world. Now listen to this.
Mä en tiedä yhtään, mistä mä tuun puhua tässä videossa, niin kuin niissä muissa videoissa,
mä oon puhunut. Mä en edes tiedä, mistä mä oon puhunut, mutta siis aika usein, kun mä laitan kameran päälle, niin mä puhun vaihdosta. Elikkä puhun varmaan jotain siitäkin, en mä tiedä. Niin.
This beautiful, impossible language is, anyone? Finnish. And your first big obstacle with Finnish is those words you just won't be able to guess. Problem is, Finnish doesn't have any similarities to Latin or Germanic languages, so there's no base connection for English speakers. It's part of the Finno-Ugric language family, and even words that are usually quite similar around the world can be totally different. And I'm not going to lie, Finnish has some of the longest words on the planet. A word can be an entire sentence. Proof coming up later.
Valikollama. Pelikyy. Pelikyeleumeo. Pelkeyleme.
Elämä. Eläkevakuutusyhtiö.
That's nothing. Check out this Morse code. These cool diacritics on the vowels are not something you can just leave out until you can spell properly.
Okay. Pöytä. So this has ö and ö both in the same word.
Then you notice that there seem to be two of everything, as the Chicago Bulls found out. Double consonants all over the shop.
That is not a word. There's no way that's a word.
Hi, pie, tie. This is no way this is a word.
Hippitinitis.
The Bulls up to shenanigans. That's going to give your mouth some practice. It's not just the weird spelling. Finns also have free word order, full-on verb conjugation with 5 or 6 pretty tricky verb classes, vowel harmony, yes, you heard me, and a whopping 15 noun cases. So word endings change depending on the context. Say I want to talk about the warmest place in Finland. See how the word sauna keeps changing, but that's not all. Sometimes even the very stem of a word changes depending on the endings you need to use. It is nuts.
The word for water is vesi. But if you're drinking some water, you cannot just say, I am drinking vesi. You have to say, I am drinking vettä.
Very rare feature in languages, by the way. Another tricky thing you're up against is the difference between how people write versus how they speak.
Are you there would be, oletko sinä siellä? In formal Finnish, it becomes, ootko siellä? Tässä minä olen becomes, that's my own.
Words just melting together. Lovely. Worst part is you will battle to find a native speaker to help you unless you go live in Finland. So bottom line, Finnish is notoriously challenging, but is it impossible? Of course not.
Stress is always on the first syllable. Even with infamously super long Finnish words such as epäjärjestelmällisyydenlänsäkäänköhän.
The other blessings are no future tense, no gender, and no articles. Spelling is very consistent, same with pronunciation and stress. And even those 15 cases won't prevent you from communicating with the locals, well, at least in most cases.
Even if you don't get a single case right, they will understand what you want to say.
Great to know, and once you grasp the logic of Finnish, you'll be winning.
Olen Stefano, olen italialainen ja italia on mun äidinkieli. Mutta puhun myös suomea. Ja tällä hetkellä olen Suomessa, on talvi ja on tullut paljon lunta. Tossa on järvi. Ja aurinko on jo laskemassa, vaikka kello on vasta 3 iltapäivällä.
Tiitiäinen, metsäläinen, pieni meninkäinen.
Everyone's having so much fun with these impossible languages. What's going on? Is there an adrenaline rush you get or something? I think you'd better give us a thumbs up if you agree, because this video could lead to other impossible things. Well, your teacher might be sweet and gentle, but things are only going to get harder in the real world, so brace yourself.
Stresuje się tym, że nie może tego wszystkiego zjeść. Ja mówię, że po prostu ma otwarcie powiedzieć, że już wystarczy, nie? Że muszą się nauczyć tego, że u nas po prostu tak jest, że ludzie generalnie tak się zachowują, że starają się, uważają, że to jest grzecznie, tak ciągle kogoś.
I rest my case and I hope you read the subtitles. Where are the missing vowels? This is why Polish is so hard for us English speakers to pronounce or to read. There are consonant clusters galore. These all make different sounds, and this cool-looking L doesn't sound like an L at all. It sounds like a W.
Mitociewicziek.
Mitociewicziek.
Mitociewicziecz.
Miło cię widzieć.
Let's not even talk about the convoluted spelling rules. So what happens when you're thrown in the deep end? Will you just embarrass yourself?
Thank you. Which is ZQ. I'm gonna go ZQ. That is my final answer.
That's right, better laugh. It's a ruthless world, so I'm just going to give it to you straight. Polish sentences have free word order, so you're not getting much help with where to put your words. There are 3 genders and noun endings seem to change on a whim. Seriously, Polish nouns have 7 possible cases, which means if you include plurals, there are 14 different ways you can change a noun ending, just like these words that all just mean cats. Oh, and masculine nouns have their own little thing. No doubt about it, you're going to need a native speaker to help you, which is exactly what this guy did.
Jak uczyłem się rosyjskiego, ja myślałem, wow, rosyjski to naprawdę bardzo trudny język. A potem zacząłem się uczyć polskiego i myślałem, wow, polskie to naprawdę, to Russian with lasers, wiesz? To naprawdę bardzo, bardzo trudne.
Well, it might be Russian with lasers, but he's doing it. Many people learn Polish and it is popular with polyglots, and as a matter of fact, there's no reason you can't do it too. But let's get tactical. Start with the easy bits. There are only 3 tenses, no silent letters, and only one way to pronounce each letter. So practice those dangerous looking letter combos.
The L is a word, right?
Diplo.
Can you sort out these tangled words? I bet you can. Try recording yourself. The secret with Polish is not to focus too much on grammar. Rather, listen as much as possible to people speaking it and read along so that you can see how the sounds are put together and just get a good feel for it.
Dla mnie to było w porządku komunikować po polsku, mówić po polsku z ludźmi tutaj, bez dużego problemu.
Well, there you go. You don't need superpowers to master Polish. He seems to be having fun without it. Pause and place your bets on the next impossible language. Will it be fun or a total nightmare?
Are you joking?
你講笑啫啩？
你講笑 what?
你講笑啫啩？
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 你講笑啫。
The peculiar sounds of this language make it so hard to learn. Will Dad get it or not? Well, we'll have to see. All I know is us English speakers make hilarious mistakes.
零空興就係零開呀，你在空興你係開呀。
If you thought nothing could be harder than Mandarin Chinese, well, you haven't met this language yet. It has harder grammar, harder writing, more words, more tones.
我今晚唔得噃。
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 No, say the same way like you already do.
Well, if you want an honest teacher, you know where to go. But I know what you're waiting for.
咁其實我細個嘅時候，我第一個識講嘅語言係廣東話嚟嘅，但係我一開始返學，慢慢英文就變咗我嘅主要語言啦。
Welcome to Cantonese, the amazing main language of Hong Kong. Now, try reading this script.
掘金掘吉掘金吉掘雞掘骨掘龜骨掘完雞骨掘金吉掘完龜骨掘雞骨。
What you are seeing is the old traditional version of Chinese writing, not the simplified kind that you often see in Mandarin. So, okay, you learn to read the Chinese characters, the harder ones, and you learn how to pronounce them in Cantonese. But even then, you can't just say the exact words you're reading because the way people really speak is totally different. As in, on the street, they use completely different words. And if you want a language with tones, well, I'll give you tones. Cantonese has 6 of them, which is 2 more than Mandarin, although it's really more like 9 tones.
C.
And no, these tones are not optional. You do need to get them right. If you use the wrong tone, it can be pretty funny or disastrous.
So, my.
Could it get any harder? Yes, indeed. There are all of these homophones and homonyms, words with the exact same sound and tones, but different meanings. There's more, lots of tricky things like particles and noun classifiers that you have to glue your words. Like a bird is an animate non-human thing and a blanket is a sheet-like thing. Would all of this put you off learning Cantonese? Well, I'm sorry if you don't find this irresistible, because I did.
所以我可以少少講廣東話，不過
Yes, that is me at the early stages. Wait for my progress at the end. I promise you this, Cantonese is a playful, dynamic language.
Chi xin chi chu ti chi chu si chi chu ti su ti.
Cái sơ, khẩu ý bằng yao, ngõ đô yao đi. Zagyam kei.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's good Cantonese. Inside joke, maybe?
唔好意思，我遲。唔好意思，我遲咗。
Yeah.
It's not hard.
唔係好難啫。
唔係好難啫。Yeah?
Yeah.
唔係好難啫。
Well, I hope you're taking notes there. So now the question is, can we make Cantonese easier to learn? How can you practice these impossible sounds?
海龜喺隻海龜蛋度出嚟啦。
海龜喺隻海龜蛋度出嚟啦。
Hope you like this neat little trick because great news, the 6 tones are actually super useful. They give you more precise ways to say what you mean. My best advice here, focus on speaking only. Don't worry about reading and writing for now. Find a native speaker to have conversations with and you'll get the hang of the basic framework of Cantonese before you know it. And here's the good news, the grammar of Cantonese is really quite simple. There's no past, present, future, no gender, no verb conjugation. And in the end, you'll be like,
呢種我決定學廣東話，同埋喺我個 blog upload 咗第一段廣東話 video，已經有1年嘅時間。其實我真係非常鍾意廣東話，講嘅時候同埋學習廣東話文化嘅時間都好好玩。
If you want to try what I did, I listened to a ton of things that I could read along with and really focused on learning new words, especially getting those tones right. I also got speaking fairly soon after starting and I just let myself feel happy about it, to be honest. Want some proof?
原諒我這一生不羈放縱愛自由，留會怕有一天會跌倒，背棄了理想，誰人都可以，留會怕有一天只你共我。
Hey, if I could do this, I know that you can do it too. You guys are awesome. And if you're really keen, one of the best ways to learn a more difficult language like Cantonese is through stories, because there's too much to memorize in these hard languages, so stories help you learn naturally and take the pressure off. How to do it? Well, it's all laid out here in my story learning kit. It's completely free and you're going to get a bunch of goodies that will show you how to start learning a language with stories. It's all free, so just click the link in the description to get started.
Gaia morontas. Gyomorrontás.
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 Many people have said that this is one of the most beautiful languages they've ever heard, but when you see words you use every day and they look like this, you just know it's not going to be easy. Go on, try pronouncing those. And now, hear the beauty.
Tesztfotózás után azt mondta, hogy lát bennem lehetőséget, és érdemes lenne kipróbálni akár az utazást, vagy akár csak networkingbe szétküldeni ezeket a képeket, és akkor utána kaptuk azokat a visszajelzéseket, hogy elkezdhetek utazni.
Welcome to the bewildering world of Hungarian. Now, Hungarian is immediately different from most languages you could try from Europe, simply because it doesn't come from the same ancestors. When you hear it, nothing will seem familiar. Lots of ancient words, no obvious patterns to recognize, and even a few words with no known origin. Very mysterious. Give this language to an amateur, and what do you get?
Árpád. Biztos. Jó. Árpád biztos jó munkásember.
There are even some nasal vowels that the Slavic languages last used in Old Church Slavonic. Yes, that's a thing. So if you think it sounds like some cool medieval language that a dragon would speak, well, you're probably right. Now, check this out. The alphabet is astonishing. It has 14 vowels, your basic A, E, I, O, U, plus another 9 variations of them. Do they all sound different? Of course they do.
Út, utas. Új, új.
And you can't be writing dots where there should be stripes. In fact, to make sure the vowels have matching sounds, Hungarian has a wonderful thing you might have heard of. That thing its distant uncle Finnish has, vowel harmony.
Did you happen to notice all the es? Those es in the suffix are there to match the vowel in the base.
But what do you think the craziest part of Hungarian is? Go on, take a guess. You're going to love this. It's the case of the infinite cases, and Hungarian has 18 of them. Now, some people say that there are 26 cases, some count 35. 18, 26, 35, all I'm hearing is a Hungarian nightmare. I mean, at least there's no consonant gradation. Perhaps less nightmarish than Finnish after all.
Lindinek hívnak, magyarul let me try that again. Nem tudom. De sok hallgatok. Igen. Nagyon szeretek Cici, a barátnőm. Cici, a barátnőm. Why is Hungarian so difficult?
But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you should be asking what's easy about Hungarian. And I will tell you, plurals. It's as easy as English is to make the plural. You simply add a K. You just have to know how vowel harmony works because that K needs the right helping vowel to go before it. Unfortunately, there are so many exceptions that the exceptions might as well be called rules, but that's for another day. So what's the trick here? Do you need a magical potion? Well, maybe, but not if you do this. Accept from the start, just accept that this is a really unique language. Listen to heaps of Hungarian content and pay attention to the way that people sound when they speak. Don't worry about your accent, just mingle and work on those tricky letter combinations one by one. And maybe you will be the one to figure out where those mysterious words came from.
Mivel csak néhány hónapig tanultam magyarul, nagyon nehéz a nyelv.
Have you learned an impossible language? If you have, you are living proof that they are not impossible. So tell us about it in the comments. And if you're ready for something else mysterious, I think you will love this next video right over here.